to follow Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, which then will lead to moksha. Krishna glorifies both the lifestyles in the chapter 4. So which lifestyle is better? Here in this verse, Arjuna wants clarification regarding this. Whether Sanyasa āśrama is better or Grihasthāśrama. Krishna has given a choice here. Choose any one. And therein lies the problem. Making a decision becomes difficult when you have a choice. We do not want to take that decision because we do not want to face the consequences of our decisions. And because we do not have that mental strength. This is Arjuna's problem here. So he says, "O Krishna, you are praising Samshasi, both Sanyasa and Grihastha. Yogam Shamsasi means lifestyle of a Grihastha, and Sanyasam Sha Samshasi, glorifying the Sanyasa āśrama. So tell me, Yat Shreyaha Etayo, between these two lifestyle, which is better? Etayo Ekam, which one is better? Sunishchitam Tanme Brohe. O Krishna, tell me definitely. You make a choice for me." So Arjuna is handing over the responsibility of this decision to Krishna. Now, which lifestyle is better? Grihastha or Sanyasa? Answers in the next few verses.
Thank you. Thanks, Chaitanya. This is over to Pallavi. Pallavi, you have to answer the question that has been raised. It is your time now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Is Shri Bhagwan Vacha Sanyasam Karma Yogascha Niham Shreyasa Karvahu Tayostu Karma Sanyasa Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Here Lord Krishna says, Ubhau Sanyasam Cha Karma Yogam, which means both sannyas and karma yoga are equally important. Niham Shreyasa Karau. They both are conducive to liberation, which is our ultimate goal. Tu tayo. However, among these two, Karma Yoga Visheshyate Karma Sanyasate, which means Karma Yoga is better than Sannyas Yoga. And according to the Vedas, the lifestyle is a choice, whether you want to practice Karma or Sannyasa Yoga. However, the path for moksha is not a choice. Then he also says that Grihasthāśrama life, then he also says that in Vedanta, the word is called duality. Nothing in this creation is absolutely good, or it has its merits and demerits. Like in Grihasthāśrama, merits is security and demerit is equal responsibility, which increases the anxiety. Whereas in Sannyas Yoga, the merit is no responsibility at all, live like a bhikshu, and the demerit is no security. So one has to make a choice based on his mental framework. Karma Yoga is generally popular. Sannyas Yoga is the shortest form to. So between the two, a majority of people find Grihasthāśrama more conducive than Sannyas Ashram. Therefore, Krishna says, Tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo Grihastha ashram life is superior to sannyas ashram for most people, to any of these ashrams. It is an irreversible choice. Therefore, one has to really think hard when they make a choice that is irreversible. Therefore, Krishna says, Tayostu, between the two ashrams, better than sannyas ashram. That is better than sannyas ashram. Karma yogam visheshyate is a better choice for a majority of the people. In this text, the Bhagwad Gita, the teacher is a Grihastha, the student, teacher is Krishna, is a Grihastha, student Arjuna is a Grihastha, Vashyacharya, who wrote Bhagwad Gita, was a Grihastha, and we all are Grihastha. Therefore, this is the most appropriate scripture for us to follow Karma Yoga. Thank you.
Thanks, Pallavi. simple and a nice explanation of this answer of Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Next verse, Dr. Komal, it is your time.
5.3 Gneyasa nitya sanyasi yona dveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hin mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchate. O Arjuna, he who does not desire and does not hate is to be known as a permanent sannyasi, because one who is beyond the pace of opposite is completely freed from the bondage. This is what Sri Krishna says as an answer to Arjuna's question. So Krishna says a Grihastha is a sannyasi. He can be considered a permanent sannyasi if he has learned to handle likes and dislikes. If you handle your raga dvesha, Grihasthāśrama is equal to Sanyāsa. One who has mastered the art of raga dvesha control, therefore sa nitya sannyasi, he becomes nitya sannyasi. Swamiji here elucidates three options any person can have. One is to become a Grihastha, follow Karma Yoga, and then get into Jnana Yoga, being a Grihastha. Second one is right after Brahmacharya, do not get into Grihasthāśrama, directly get into Sanyāsa. Then follow Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And the third option is enter Grihasthāśrama, follow Karma Yoga, then quit Grihasthāśrama, then become a sannyasi, follow Jnana Yoga and attain moksha. So after three options, the vision of Veda is the third option, that is to enter Grihasthāśrama, do Karma Yoga, then quit Grihasthāśrama, become a sannyasi, then follow Jnana Yoga. But the compromise what we have is the first option, which is acceptable, is being a Grihastha, follow Karma Yoga, and then follow Jnana Yoga, being a Grihastha. So that's the compromise which Swamiji says, which most of us, which is the best option available, best of both worlds. The important point here, what Krishna says, is that he does not say you should not have raga dvesha. We certainly will have certain likes and dislikes. Even gods will have their favorite instruments. But Krishna says you should not be, do not be a slave of your likes and dislikes. If you are able to fulfill your likes and dislikes, then it's wonderful. But if you are not able to fulfill, then also you should know how to face the situation. So mastery of likes and dislikes is converting them into non-binding desires. Therefore, Krishna says, Hey Mahabaho, Hey Arjuna, Nirdvandvo, that person who has managed pairs of opposite, consisting of raga and dvesha, labha and nashta, mana and apamana, samyoga and viyoga, all these are pairs. The one who can handle such a person is called Nirdvandva, a master of pair of opposites. And such a person, bandhat pramuchate, he or she will definitely attain moksha without going to Sanyāsa. Remaining in Grihasthāśrama, he can attain moksha. And how? Of course, by following the two sadhanas. First Karma Yoga and then next Jnana Yoga. Swamiji is pointing out here that in those days for Grihasthas, these kind of classes online were not there, even whether direct person to person or online. So if you had to study Vedanta those days, you had to go to Rishikesh or somewhere else. So we are very fortunate and we have this great opportunity, and in this lockdown period, we are following Jnana Yoga, remaining in Grihasthāśrama, and this is how Sukham, that so comfortably. We do not have problems of Sanyasa ashrama. At the same time, we are getting the benefit of Jnanam. And Swamiji points out that this is how lucky we are, and especially so in this lockdown period when we are able to follow being a Grihastha and knowing about Jnanam and working towards Jnana Yoga and Moksha. This is how fortunate we are. Thanks to this lockdown, thanks to this online and Swamiji's audios. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Komal, for a very nice presentation and also bringing out the message very clearly. Also, you brought out this fact that how blessed we are, that we can get this lofty information at the comfort of the homes. And thanks to the parampara of gurus, particularly Swami Chinmayananda, who broke the tradition of being able to bring this wisdom in a language that is comfortable to us and to all of us, to each one of us at the comfort of our home. Nilima,
Yes,
fourth
sir.
verse is yours. You can begin.
Am I audible, sir?
Clearly, go ahead.
Yes. So, in first chapter of Gita, we have seen the Arjuna grief, where that grief arose due to confusion, due to his wrong identity and his duties. To remove his grief, Lord gives him Sankhya Yoga in the second chapter. Whereas Arjuna is not Uttama Adhikari, so he could not assimilate the epitome of spiritual truth. He could not assimilate this higher knowledge of this spiritual truth. So Lord introduces him for the Karma Yoga. In the third chapter, we get to see Lord elaborates about Karma Yoga. Then Arjuna, he questions Lord if Sankhya Yoga is superior, why he is needed to perform the Karma Yoga. Whereas a teacher advises seeing the student, his adhikaritva. So he was in the third chapter, it is very important, the question like which one is important, whether it is Sankhya Yoga or Karma Yoga. In a journey of the seeker, two important stages are very important. Like for example, first one is purification and the second is culmination. This Karma Yoga, it purifies the seeker and it leads him to Jnana Yoga. So in this purification, again, two important options are there. Like one is Karma Yoga and other is Karma Sanyasa. So this Karma Yoga is which is a pravritti marga, which prepares the sadhaka and which leads him to nivritti marga, the same Jnana Yoga. So in Karma Yoga, after renouncing the vasanas, then it's a natural growth. From Karma Yoga, he goes to Karma Sanyasa. But without achieving the Vasana Kshaya, if he goes to the Karma Sanyasa, it is very difficult for a beginner, for sadhaka. So for example, a student, we'll first see the verse, then we'll go for the rest of the meaning. Sankhya Yoga Pruthak Balaha Pravadanti na Panditaha Ekamapyastita Samyaga Upayor Vindate Phalam. So Anvaya will see Sankhya Yoga Bala Pruthak Pravadanti na Panditaha Ekamapi Samyak Astitaha Upayo Phalam Vindate. It's a so this Sankhya Yoga and this Karma Yoga, they are not too different. The people who are childish, only they say they are different, but it's not by wise people. Whoever like follows one path, either Karma Yoga or Sankhya Yoga, and who established in one path, then they get the fruit of the both. Like for example, if two roads are there with different names, they lead to the same destination. So in the same way, like two different lights giving the two different lamps giving the same light, though they may look different, this Karma Yoga gives Chitta Shuddhi, purity of the mind, leading to Jnana Marga. And the same Jnana Marga, having already the purity, it gives Jnana Nishtha to the Jnani. So in both cases, the result is moksha. We also get to see in festivals like in a Krishnashtami, there is a pot breaking where there is people who are standing on the ground, and next to the little higher and the only top one person will be standing. It is very difficult for the person who is not well balanced to stand on the top. In the same way, for the beginner, it is always important to start with a Karma Yoga who is having some alambana, so that he can take the support. And karma sannyasa, it is the higher level. So this this karma sannyasa leads to jnana yoga. So here the question is between whether karma yoga is important, do I need to take, or karma sannyasa. In the life of a seeker, first karma yoga is advisable, because in this generation there is no particular sadhanas are available. When there is a lot of time in a solitary by giving up karmas, so he will not be able to manage. So Lord Krishna, though it is both lead to the Sankhya and Karmas, and they both lead to the same mukti, but it is not an optional, but one follows the other. Like after finishing the primary education, he is promoted to the secondary education. So Karma Yoga, after getting the Chitta Suddhi, he gets the needed Vairagyam, and which leads to knowledge. So the same, and the knowledge leading to moksha is like Krama Mukti. In the same way, the person who is already a higher evolved seeker, whoever in the stage of life, they can directly go to the Sankhya Yoga, and which again leading him to the same moksha. So ekam api astita, whatever path one may take, so it is the same destination, there is the same goal, but seeing the adhikari of the student, the Lord or a great teacher, he advises, take Karma Yoga, so that with the vasanas, if you go to the solitary, there will be no use and no progress in this spiritual path. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nilima. Thanks for also bringing out the entire hierarchy of Karma Yoga over the chapters. As you will recollect, in the third chapter, Krishna began explaining karma as an agnya. You have to do it as part of the cycle. If I don't do my job, there is a cyclical action of karma to maintain dharma. And then he says as a yajna, and then as a sadhana for chitta shuddhi. Very beautifully explained. Then the fourth chapter, we saw what is jnana karma sannyasa yoga. How is it possible? How does the jnani, how does the sannyasi do karma without causing punyam or papam? That is summarized again in that yoga su karma su kaushala. The skill is to, now we studied Mundaka Upanishad, how you can identify yourself from your higher self, and all that is being clarified again. Finally, the last part is being dealt in the fifth chapter. We now go to the next verse, and that will be dealt with Vindhya. It is your time to speak about the sixth verse, Vindhya.
Sanyasa tu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena O Arjuna, sannyasa is difficult to attain without Karma Yoga, but the devout Karma Yogi attains Brahman before long. In the previous verses, Krishna tells Arjuna that both Grihastha and Sanyāsāśrama are equally fruitful. But here, Krishna clarifies that even though both paths help us realize Brahman, the path an individual chooses depends on the preparedness of the mind. So what is this preparedness of the mind? For a prepared mind, Sanyāsāśrama is the right path. But for an unprepared mind, following Sanyāsāśrama will be difficult. This is because Sanyāsāśrama requires you to have the mental maturity to renounce everything, including your wealth, your family, friends, and lead a very peaceful and silent life. The thought of this is difficult for many of us to imagine. This is because of the life we are used to living. No matter how great your vacation is, after some time, you long to get back to your own house because you are attached to it. Similarly, Arjuna is a Kshatriya by nature. If he refuses to fight the war and decides to suddenly take up Sanyāsāśrama and goes to the forests, he will start working there as well. He may practice archery instead of meditating. That's why Krishna informs us, He Mahabaho, Sanyasa Dukkham Aptum, that Sanyāsāśrama requires a mature mind, which is not easy to attain. Shri Krishna says that while performing one's duties in the world, a person should slowly learn to rise above anger, greed, and desire. And this is possible only through Karma Yoga, which means it is important. Sanyāsāśrama is not an escape from a Grihastha's distress in the real world. If one is unhappy in Grihasthāśrama because of some problem caused in that material world, he cannot jump to Sanyāsāśrama because it is like jumping from a frying pan to a fire. One must quit Grihasthāśrama when everything is going well, not when there is problem. Thus, dukkham aptum ayogataha. So, ayogataha means without Karma Yoga, Sanyāsāśrama is difficult to attain. But yoga yukto muni. So, Muni refers to sage, and yoga yukto muni is a person who dwells in Karma Yoga. A person who likes maunatvam or silence, and a person who enjoys contemplation will be able to realize Brahman. A Muni is capable of following Sanyāsāśrama, unlike you, Arjuna, because he has practiced two things, Karma Yoga and preparing the mind through appropriate sadhanas, either in this life or the previous life. Brahman nachirena adhigacchati will attain moksha quickly. So what it means is a Muni who has gone through Karma Yoga and has also prepared the mind and has matured the mind through sadhanas will be able to attain moksha quickly. Hence, Krishna tells us that Karma Yoga has to be followed properly in Grihasthāśrama, and only then will we be able to attain moksha. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. I can hear a lot of claps for you. It's nice to see the whole family take part. It's nice to see both of you who've been working on the Upanishads and the Bhagwad Gita for so many years, and your presentation is as good as anybody else. Your age does not matter, and your understanding is also very clear. Dr. Kiran, it is your time.
Yeah. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriha sarva bhutatma kurvan api lipyate. It means having mastered body and sense organs, the pure-minded Karma Yogi becomes the Atma, which is the self of all beings and everything. Such a person, though performing action, is not affected by it. So I'll take little longer time because this has got an important sentence and seed kurvan api nalipyati. Here, first, two features characterizes Krishna as a great teacher. One, he avoids giving conclusion, and he prompts his student to examine life and teaching and ask questions so that he can go into the depth of the subject and the student matures. And second, he tells Arjuna what he needs rather than what he likes. Here, Arjuna wants Krishna to tell sannyasi is better so that he puts all the blame on Krishna and he will run off. So that is what his aim is. But Krishna is countering it. So he tells the sadhanas which everyone has to practice irrespective of lifestyle is same. Actually, it boils down to the two important things. One is detachment from physical body and purity of the mind. Actually, it is only one which I will tell. Yoga yuktaha here means Karma Yogi. So Karma Yogi is one who has a balance between material and spiritual pursuits, understands that spirituality is better in the long run and starts dedicating more time and energy towards this. So here Vijitatma means conquering the body. Atma here means body. Three conditions which makes a Karma Yogi is he gives priority to spiritual growth. That is dedicating the very life as offering to the Lord and accepting every experience as prasadam from the Lord. And Vishuddhatma is a very key word here. It means special pure mind. So purity of mind is freedom from all unhealthy thinking, unhealthy ways of thinking. Whether one has taken sannyasa or grihastha, one has to control senses and mind. Otherwise, it is of no use. We all went to Kashi. A panda in our Kashinath Vishwanath temple, always his eyes was on what, how to take money from us. So is actually that person is worse than a bandit. On the other hand, the flower seller outside who is doing a good job without knowledge of any of these mantra is actually a better qualified to pursue further spirituality. So the important thing is here, attachment to the body is the root of all desires. If you are not aware that we are not other than this body, then all attempts to master the body fails. We can't master something in which we are inside. So like fasting, breathing, pranayama, etc. will only be temporary if we do not, if we are not in the awareness that we are other than this physical body. So Jitendriya actually to conquer this senses needs awareness of the mind. That is why it is called as Vishuddha Atma. Here Atma means mind. One indicator of pure mind is he will focus on what is needed and less on external factors, which we call Vairagya, which is referred. And such a person is eligible for pursuing further, that is Jnana Kanda, which is indicated by the word Sarva Bhutatma Bhavati, and Jnana Yoga, where we know that I am the Atma and supporter of this body and not this body. That is Sarva Bhuta Atma. So Krishna here says, such a person who is Mukta Purusha, Kurvanapi na lipyate. That is, he is not tainted by any action. That means he does not identify with any action, whether he is doing a good, very comfortable, cozy job like a priest reciting mantras, or like Arjuna in the battle. It is all same for him. And because he is not a. Here I will make one important statement. As long as one is desiring for fruits, he is in the realm of action. That is karta, bhokta. That is, I repeat, as long as one is desiring for fruits, he has fruits for anything. That means he is in the realm of karta, bhokta. So this occurs because of two things. One is abhimanam, that is identification with the body, and the other is identification of the properties of the body, what this body needs for its nourishment, body-mind complex. So he will keep on doing. So this is the two important abhimana. The whole Vedanta is about tackling this abhimana. Here I want to end with a story of Midas. When Midas guy was there, he had a boon that whatever he touches becomes gold. So initially he was very happy. Later on, whatever he could touch, even his friends, his dear ones, even ultimately, even when he touched water, it became gold and he could not drink it, and he dies. And ultimately, before dying, he prays to God and he says, "Oh God, give me 10 fingers with which if I touch anything, it stays the same." So this is what an enlightened action will be. It will be like a perfect, the way God's want is to be, as it is. And such a person will not have any, taint or karma behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Important verse, very nicely explained. You gave the whole gamut of Karma Yoga and how a Jnani would be able to perform karma. And this is also my good fortune. You will see both Kiran and Komal and so many others are all neurosurgeons who are working with me with a very clear understanding of what karma and Karma Yoga is. And that is why our work environment is so wonderful. Ultimately, that is it. If you're able to internalize this whole message and bring it to your families, as demonstrated by Vishwanath and his children, and the thing that I have, that my whole team is there with this Vedantic background. The next two verses, very important verses, both will be done by Shamala. Shamala, it's your time.
Here verses 8th and 9th should be discussed together. It may go little beyond 5 minutes. I may have to take permission from Dr. Sachin.
No problem. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Krishna here explains not doing in spite of doing. The verse goes like this. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manneta tattvavit pashyan shrunvan sprushan jigran ashnan gachan swapan shwasan pralapan visrujan grihnan unnishan yimishannapi indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. These verses describe how a Gnani, the knower of truth, who has merged with Supreme Self, views the variety of internal and external actions of life. Krishna says Tattvavitu, a wise person who has internalized this teaching, who has meditated upon this teaching for a long time. Whatever he uses, I, primarily what comes is, I am the Atma. This is the idea, but of course in Vyavahara, he will use the word I for the body. Yukta means the one who is established in this knowledge. Every cell of the body is soaked in this awareness, I am the Atma. Next, Manyeta. He remembers all the time. What does he remember? Naiva kinchitu karomi. Really speaking, I am not doing any action and also not affected by the actions. Does Krishna really mean that the person who has self-knowledge is not affected by the results of action? Because one doesn't look upon oneself as the karta doer. Here Swami Chinmayananda gives an example. Actions are springing forth from me, but I am not doing it. I am sitting in the car. It is the car that is running. When I realize that I have already traveled 10 miles, should I start panting in the car? 10 miles traveled. I must be tired. Why should I be tired? I am sitting, the car was running. Because I am sitting in the car, I am also moving. That's all. Similarly, the man who has awakened to the higher state of consciousness, he from that state of consciousness understands that I am not doing anything, but in my presence, the body, the mind, the intellect are all functioning. Krishna explains a list of these common and natural activities in these verses. Pashyan, the eyes are seeing. Shrunvan, the ears hearing. Sprishan, the skin is touching. Jigran, the nose is smelling. Ashnan, the tongue is tasting. Gachan, the legs are walking. Swapan, the body and the mind are taking rest. Shwasan, the breathing process is on. Pralapan, the mouth has to talk, has to take. Visrajan, excretory organs will have to remove the waste. Grihnan, hands will have to take things. Unnishan, nimishan, the eye and eyelids are to open and close. All these activities go on. We all got a notion that a jnani must be different from other people. Jnani is one who has jnanam. Other than that, there is no difference at all in his activities, and this jnanam brings about a radical attitudinal change towards the life situations. Jnana Yogi is able to stand aloof and watch these activities. In fact, it is a very good meditation to practice. Next, Indriyani Indriyartheshu Vartanti. Even while appearing to perform the actions like seeing, hearing, touching, and so on, the person knows that it is the sense organs and organs of actions which are engaging themselves in their own spheres of activities. Indriyartheshu Vartanti. And knowing this very well, Dharayan. What does the person think while doing these actions? Naiva kinchit karomi. I perform no actions whatsoever. He remains perfectly detached from all internal functionings and external activities. Thank you, Hari Om.
Shamala, for a very clear explanation of inaction in action, and with a very nice example that you gave while traveling in the car. With that, we come to the conclusion of today's verses. Om Purnamada Purnamidam.
Don't worry, it's not there.
We have
Okay, phone into another.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu